Make it 3 in a row for the Detroit Tigers. And how about Riley Greene? Multi-home run game. Tigers take it over the Rays 4-2, and we break it down next on this live edition of the Locked On Tigers Postcast.
You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what's going on? This is fun when the Tigers provide the fireworks like they have the last couple of games. Welcome into another live edition of the Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma, formerly with 97.1 The Ticket, now with Locked On Tigers and the Locked On Tigers Postcast. Fired up to be with you, especially when the Tigers make it this fun. Don't look now, guys, but we got a fun baseball team. They're out there making web gems and 8-inning home runs, and we've got all kinds of things to discuss on today's show. We'll talk about Riley Greene, that bad man out there breaking the hearts of the fans of the Tampa Bay Rays, Kenta Maeda's best start as a Tiger, and wrap it up with studs and duds. So buckle up, lock it in, and let's get it going. Fired up to be with you. And as a reminder, today's show is made possible by Monopoly Go. That's right. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. And if you're like me, you're kind of a competitive guy, and Monopoly Go is an opportunity for you to feed into that competitive side. I'm a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go, and download it on the free App Store or Google Play and play with your friends. So download Monopoly Go. It's free on the App Store or Google Play. And let's get into it. We got a couple of people already joining us on the YouTube stream. Fired up to be with you because make it 3 in a row for the Detroit Tigers. Got a little dicey tonight at one point, and we'll get into the struggles that Alex Faedo has shown of late. But I want to start with the positives. Riley Greene, you felt like he was pretty locked in tonight. Obviously, we know what happened as the game progressed, his first career multi-home run game. But go back to the very first at-bat of the game for Riley Greene, and he found himself drawing a leadoff walk. And I point to that at-bat because he took a couple of pitches in that at-bat that just showed how laser focused he was, locked in, seeing the ball so well, a couple of really close pitches that he was able to hold off and ultimately draw the walk. Then we know what happened after that. He had the solo home run to give the Tigers the 1-0 lead. And then after they fell behind 2-1, it was the 2-run bomb in the 8th inning, a no doubt about her again. And when you go yard twice, you're responsible for 3 of the team's 4 runs batted in. You tip the cap to Riley Greene and say, sometimes your stars got to carry you. And I think Riley Greene is becoming exactly that, a star in the making for the Detroit Tigers. And why not? Former first-round pick. And I don't want to say he's, and certainly no way has underachieved, but you really feel like this could be a breakout year for Riley Greene, where he continues to gain that confidence and the rest of the team feeds off of him. And tonight was a perfect example of that. So Riley Greene, first career multi-home run, and the hometown kid, no less. Tigers playing in St. Petersburg, Florida, even though they're the Tampa Bay Rays, that always throws me for a loop. But Riley Greene from nearby Orlando. So neat to see that, and neat to see Riley Greene break out in a big way. 3 home runs for the Tigers offense in total. And we've talked time and time again in this early portion of the season that you're just waiting for that offense to wake up. And, the 4 runs with 3 home runs, because obviously 2 of them were solo shots and the other one a 2-run shot. You'd like to see more runners on base so that you could really maximize the damage of the big fly. But in the end, all is well that ends well. I'll say that a million times. A win is a win is a win. It doesn't have to be pretty, but by golly, they got it done. And that's now 3 in a row. And you set yourself up for a chance to go for a series sweep on the road against a team in Tampa Bay. Yes, they're at the bottom of the AL East right now, but we all know how good that division is. in the AL East. The Tigers moved to 14-10, 10-3 on the road. And we've talked about that quite a bit last night, but worth repeating that this Tigers team has shown in the early going of this season the ability to go on the road, and it doesn't matter where they're playing, whether it be 2 or 3 at Target Field and now an opportunity to sweep the Rays at Tropicana Field. This Tigers team comfortable playing away from home all the way back to the beginning of the season, although I don't know if you can count a sweep over the White Sox considering they're 3-20 or whatever they are right now, on pace to win about 15 games this season. But you win a series on the road against the New York Mets after that. And this Tigers team, again, has just played really, really good baseball away from home. And when your big guns lead the way, guys like Riley Greene, Mark Canha, yesterday Kerry Carpenter had his 7th consecutive game with an RBI, didn't today, so that streak ends. But point being, some of those big guns in that lineup leading the way for the Tigers. You get the pitching. Defense was really, really shaky at the beginning of the game. We do have to talk about that, how Kenta Maeda somehow put forth his best start as a Tiger and pitched around 3 errors, with 2 of them being on the first 2 batters of the game. But again, it doesn't have to be pretty. You ultimately get the win, and that's what it's all about. So Riley Greene, the 2-run homer in the 8th to put the Tigers ahead. And something about that 8th inning, the cardiac cats, the late inning heroics from this Tigers team that we've seen now at a consistent basis, to the point where that 8th inning rolls around and you're thinking to yourself, all right, how many runs are they going to score in this 8th inning? Because that's what this Tiger team has been. That's been the identity of this Tigers team so far in the month of April, is the ability to manufacture runs late in games. The offense comes alive late in the 8th inning and beyond. And tonight was just an absolute microcosm of that and representative of the way the Tigers have been the entire season. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you're checking us out on YouTube, we're going to be here after every single game, breaking it all down all season long. And when the Tigers play this kind of baseball, a fun brand of baseball, especially defensively. And I mentioned the errors at the beginning of the season, but we got to talk about that web gem by Buddy Kennedy late in the game, a barehanded play on the chopper. Are you kidding me? As good of a play as you'll see from a third baseman. Not to mention he was just thrown into the game, and his pinch hit at bat, although he lined out to center, it shouldn't be slept on that exit velo. I believe I saw it on Twitter somewhere around 100 miles per hour, but it was a shot off the bat. Buddy Kennedy and Wenzel Perez, for that matter, and a couple more hits for Perez in this game. Both of them are making the most of their opportunities with the big league club. And let me pull up the box score right here so I don't provide any fake news. But yes, 1 for 3 for Perez on the day. Did draw a walk and was able to steal a base. So again, finding ways to impact the game if you're Wenzel Perez. And again, the web gem from Buddy Kennedy, despite him being 0 for 1 in his pinch hit at bat, it was a line shot to center field that just stayed up in the air a little bit too long. But the big story of this one, Riley Greene. First career multi-home run game. He goes yard early, he goes yard late, and the Tigers win this behind his 3 RBIs, 4-2 the final over Tampa Bay, and now an opportunity to go for the sweep. Checking in with our YouTube commenters here. MacDonald 1791 says, so sick. Heck yeah, Riley. Oh yeah, we're all about it. And again, Riley Greene has been really, really good as a member of the Detroit Tigers, but if he can even elevate to that superstar level, think of the impact that he can have for this Detroit Tigers team. He's a great clubhouse guy. I remember taking note of that last year when I was covering games for the Ticket, the aura that he has and just the persona. He exudes confidence. You can tell guys around him really respect him. And that was a team last year that really didn't have a lot of guys that could be considered, quote unquote, the face of the organization. And that's no disrespect to the roster last year, but it was kind of a transition year. You knew Miggy, obviously the legend that he was, on his way out last season. And you just felt like it was the passing of the guard to guys like Riley Greene, Spencer Torkelson, and the pitching staff, obviously Tarek Skubal and so on and so forth. So to see Riley Greene really take ownership and to get off to the start that he has this season, we know he leads the majors in walk percentage. He's an on-base machine. And today he showed he can get it done with the long ball as well. And he's got some pop in that bat to the tune of 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. Shout out to Born Cool here. What up? Road Warriors, do it again. Nice to see some home runs. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Born Cool. I mentioned it earlier on the telecast. If you weren't on with us, you love to see the bats come alive, the 3 home runs. Now we just need a few more base runners, because 3 home runs should yield more than 4 runs, but we will take it. Tigers 14-10, now 10-3 on the road, and they can go for the series sweep tomorrow. Kenta Maeda was really good on the mound and pitched around some shaky defense. We talk about it next on this edition of a Locked On Tigers postcast. All right, today's show made possible by Game Time. And guys, you probably had a frustrating experience buying a ticket from an app to go to a live event. I know I have, but you can kiss all of that goodbye with Game Time, your one-stop shop for all your ticketing needs. Get down to Comerica Park. Maybe you want to find a way to get to the draft coming up in Detroit, downtown Detroit. That's going to be amazing. Game Time is your one-stop shop, last-minute ticket deals, guaranteed lowest price. Let me say that again. They specialize in last-minute ticket deals, so as the event gets closer and closer, that price is going down, down, down. It actually rewards procrastinators. So if you're like me, sometimes you wait to the last second. Not to worry with Game Time. You actually get rewarded for that. It's incredible. Killer last-minute deals, all in pricing, which is really nice as well, because we've all had that moment where we think we're getting a steal on a deal. You look up, it's a great price. Then all of a sudden you go to checkout and it's double the amount what it was. Forget about that with Game Time, because they show the price in all-in pricing, so you actually see the amount that you're going to pay. And speaking of seeing, I love the Game Time app because it provides that nice high-res photo from your seat. There's no deception. You can see a very clear high-res photo right from your seat, so you know exactly what the view is going to be like. It takes all the guesswork out of buying tickets. And the Tigers are hot right now, folks. 3 in a row, weekend series coming up at home against the Kansas City Royals. So get your tickets to the ballpark. Use that Game Time app. You got to look all through the Game Time app. Super easy to use. My grandparents even use the Game Time app. That's how easy it is. No disrespect, Papa and Grandma. You guys know I love you guys. But that said, all-in pricing, flash deals, last-minute ticket deals. As the event gets closer and closer, that price goes down, down, down. Lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, you name it. Game Time is a warrior for you. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply, but create that account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB. Let me spell it out for you just in case you stop listening. LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Today's show is also made possible by Policy Genius. That's right. Life insurance is not always the most exciting or fun thing to talk about, but it is important. So listen up. Maybe you've had a frustrating experience trying to buy life insurance or even research life experience, but not to worry. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. Guys, I've endured some loss in my life, and I know the importance of life insurance. With Policy Genius, you can find insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million worth of coverage. Some options even offer same-day approval, and you can avoid the unnecessary medical exams. So if you've ever gotten positive feedback about life insurance, they're probably using Policy Genius. That's right. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help you through a process that isn't always the most fun, but it is important. So check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB and click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. All right, we continue breaking this one down, and we'll move from the offensive side of things, in which the Tigers get a check plus for the 3 long balls, thanks to Riley Greene and Mark Canha. We'll mention him as well. Back-to-back games now with a home run for Mark Canha. He has been exceptionally steady and consistent in the middle of the order for the Tigers. But Kenta Maeda, hand up, just like I have to do with RBIs from time to time, I probably owe Kenta Maeda an apology, at least after tonight's start, because at times he was really, really good and had some of those off-speed pitches working and even blew some hitters away with the fastball, which is something we haven't seen from Kenta Maeda in a Tigers uniform. He goes 5 innings, allows just 3 hits, no runs, no earned runs, did not walk a batter, and struck out 5. Now, you compare those numbers, and you could just simply compare 5 innings of scoreless baseball to his prior 17 2/3 innings. He had given up 15 earned runs. So, drastic improvement. And again, the 5 innings, obviously that's not Cy Young caliber stuff, but in comparison to how he struggled to get through the beginning portion of the game and put his team in a hole like he had in his previous starts, tonight was much, much better. And he showed signs of being what the Tigers brought him in to be, a veteran presence in the rotation and a guy that you could count on to give your team a chance to win. He hadn't been that at the beginning portion of his Tigers career, but today was a huge step forward. Not to mention, he had to pitch around some shaky defense early in that game. Javi Baez, we sang your praises over and over again, and he made up for it. He made some plays later on, but that error at the beginning of the game, then he had the catcher's interference. It just got off to a really shaky start, and I was fully expecting an implosion from Kenta Maeda after the way this game started, and given his historical data and the sample size of him in a Tigers uniform, I did not have high hopes for this outing from Kenta Maeda, but he proved me wrong, and he went out and pitched a really, really good game. And you got to give Kenta Maeda credit for finding it within him to shake off the airs and really do it himself at times. Again, no walks, and for him to put forth 5 Ks with no walks just shows the command that he had. And if this is the type of performance the Tigers can count on from Kenta Maeda on a consistent level, then maybe I will pump the brakes a little bit on the talk of, moving on from Kenta Maeda and going with Matt Manning as that last starter. So that said, it is also just one game, so I'll pump the brakes a little bit on that as well. But I liked what I saw from Kenta Maeda today. 5 innings of scoreless baseball, gave his team a chance to win. Now, the bullpen, little bit concerned with Alex Faedo. And I should say, I know we got some more people just joining us on the YouTube stream. Let me know what you think of Kenta Maeda, and if you're ready, if tonight showed you enough to where you're ready to stick with him moving forward. And he's been prone to slow starts in his career previously before coming to Detroit. So maybe this is just another slow start to his season, and he'll really start to get into mid-season form, if you will, here moving forward, and a lot of confidence to build on with the 5 innings of scoreless baseball tonight against a Rays team at the Trop. Now, the bullpen, again, Faedo, that's back-to-back outings where he hasn't looked like the Alex Faedo that we're hoping he can be. And all of a sudden, you look at a bullpen that's as good as the Tigers bullpen is, and maybe Faedo finds himself falling a little bit out of favor with A.J. Hinch, given his performance on the mound the last 2 outings. Again, he was, I don't want to say roughed up, but he surrendered the home run against the Twins that gave up the shutout on Sunday. And here tonight, he gives up the 2-run bomb to guess what? Isaac Paredes. That's right. And if you know me, you know that's one of my all-time least favorite trades in Tigers history. The trade giving up Isaac Paredes for Austin Meadows. I can't even say his name without getting into a bad mood. More on that in the duds portion of the program. But Isaac Paredes now 6 home runs. And good thing Riley Greene hit 2 home runs today, because that gave him 5 and 6 on the season. So even without that, I should say, Isaac Paredes would have been leading the Tigers in home runs, but we can at least rest assured. Let me make sure that Riley Greene has 6 home runs on the season, but you get the point. Isaac Paredes would look really, really good in a Tigers uniform right now, because other than what we saw tonight, the Tigers have really, really lacked a lot of power. And so it's one of those insult to injury, if you will. But nonetheless, got to give it up for the Tigers bullpen after Faedo gave it up. And Faedo still gets the win, compliments of the Tigers offense with the 3 spot in the 8th. Faedo went 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 K, 1 walk. And the other pitchers that looked really, really good, once again, Alex Lang, an inning of scoreless baseball in the 8th, did give up the 1 hit, but Jason Foley comes in the 9th to get his 7th save. And this is just so different than if you grew up watching Tigers baseball. Some of the best teams we had, the bullpen was always a weakness. And so it's so refreshing to have arguably the best bullpen in the bigs, and you get into those late innings, guys that come in out of the pen, you just have that confidence that they're going to get the job done. And that's exactly what we saw tonight from Lang, and then the save from Jason Foley. So love that. Let me know what you think of the Tigers bullpen as well, because honestly, I know we have our fun with the Tigers front office and say, this team is built on pitching, good defense, and we'll figure it out on offense. But the defense hasn't been good as of late. Another 3-error game. And the offense at times, yesterday being one of them, and today with the 3 home runs, has shown to be, I'm not going to get crazy and say the strength of this team, but in this 3-game winning streak, the offense has been really, really good. And so I'm wondering if we've just been told so many times that, hey, this Tigers team is built on great pitching and defense, if the defense really is that good. We know the pitching's for real. There is no doubt about it. I'd put right now in the first month of the season, I feel really good about our rotation, and maybe minus Maeda, we'll see with more starts there. But the bullpen, obviously, one of the best in the big, so you feel really, really good about that. All told, it's a 3-game winning streak for the Detroit Tigers as they knock off the Rays 4-2. One of my favorite portions of the program is coming up next. We wrap it up with studs and duds on this edition of a live Locked On Tigers postcast. All right, today's show also made possible by Monopoly Go. That's right. You guys know I'm one of the most competitive people out there. I get mad when the Tigers lose, but I'm happy when they win, like tonight. And we've all been there, right? Either as a player or a fan. And you get to halftime and the scoreboard is not looking so good. You're feeling low. Not sure you or your team can pull out a win. Kind of how I felt about the Tigers before the 8th inning. That's when you dig deep. You lift your head and you say to yourself, time to get back in the game and pull off some bank heists and take some of my friends' money and as much money as I possibly can. That's right. I'm talking about Monopoly Go, the smash hit mobile game. Monopoly Go lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches in the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone anytime, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. You can make your friends go bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. You can play on countless dynamic Monopoly Go boards. You can charge other players rent for your iconic properties, and that's just scratching the surface, my friends. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put your game face on, and download Monopoly Go, now free on the app or Google Play Store. That's right, Monopoly Go, free to download on the App Store or Google Play. And if you're watching Fox Sports or ESPN in your TV all day, you're probably hearing tons of shouting and yelling. You got to turn the volume down, of course. So how about you make the switch to Locked On Sports today? It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Oh, here we go. Tigers have won 3 in a row. They get the win over the Rays. If you're just joining us on the YouTube stream, fired up to be with you. We close it out with one of my favorite portions of the program, the studs and duds. Obviously, our top stud tonight is Riley Greene, first career multi-home run game. The Tigers don't win this game without Riley Greene. There you go, Riepma. Way to point out the most obvious statement of the night, but 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Round of applause for Riley Greene. What a game he played. Mark Canha with the solo shot. That's now back-to-back games for him. He's also deserving of a nod in the stud category. And Kenta Maeda, first start as a Tiger, or best start as a Tiger, I should say. Certainly not his first, but 5 innings of scoreless baseball, struck out 5, did not walk a batter. Now, also want to give a little honorable mention to Buddy Kennedy. I tweeted this out. You guys remember the Who's Your Tiger promotion from I want to say that was 2006. I don't know. I was a kid, but Who's Your Tiger? Who's Your Tiger? I'm pretty sure Verlander was a rookie when they ran out the Who's Your Tiger promotion. But so that would have been 19 years ago, which is just insane to think about. That said, Buddy Kennedy might be my Tiger. I love rooting for the guy. I love the web gem that he made at third base in a huge spot. That was awesome. So I'll give him an honorable mention. Now the duds portion of the program. It's been a happy show. 3 wins in a row for the Tigers. But I got to point out the duds, I'm still going to give it to the Tigers front office for trading Isaac Paredes and bringing in Austin Meadows to play center field. And Meadows is our center fielder, but it's Parker Meadows, not Austin Meadows, because remember, he was too depressed to play baseball. And I'm not going to go into the mental health stuff. I know it was this, that, or the other. I don't know the details, but I can look at the statistics of Austin Meadows as a Tiger, and he played 6 games last year and 36 games the year before. So talk about a swing and a miss. And meanwhile, Tiger fans like myself have to continuously watch Isaac Paredes go yard as one of the better power hitters and most consistent power hitters in the game. Imagine Isaac Paredes on this team, right? But that said, just one more painful reminder that the Tigers had Isaac Paredes. So he is one, or not he, but the Tigers front office for trading Isaac Paredes for Austin Meadows. No, not Parker Meadows. Austin Meadows is deserving of a dud just because we were reminded of that tonight. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Born Cool says Buddy Kennedy is one of my studs for that defensive play. Amen to that. And 3 errors today by the defense. Still got to clean that up. Good point from Born Cool there. So let's go ahead and give the Tigers defense at times a dud. But they did kind of clean it up because those errors came early in the game. And again, Maeda did a great job of pitching around those errors. So all told, Tigers get the win. That's now 3 in a row. And how about another series win as they continue to stockpile these series wins on the road? And let's go for the sweep tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Remember, we'll be right on the air at the conclusion of the game tomorrow in the series finale for the Detroit Tigers against the Tampa Bay Rays from the Trop before coming home to take on the Royals for a weekend series. Remember that Friday game has a little bit of a different start because of the NFL draft. So Friday's game against the Royals is an early game, 1:10 first pitch on Friday. Tomorrow will be Jack Flaherty for the Tigers on the bump. He's 0-1 with a 4.44 ERA. Sean Armstrong will be the Rays hurler in the series finale. Tigers going for the sweep. And that sounds like a good plan to me. So Make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you haven't yet, make sure you do and tell your friends about it. We have a lot of fun on these Locked On Tigers postcasts with instant reaction. There's nothing like hopping on here, chatting it up with all of our close Tigers community. That's our hope for this, to really build up the community and be a place where we can riff about the game. We can hear each other, read each other's comments. And then if you miss one of the live YouTube productions, just check out the audio only version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe as well and check out Locked On Tigers each and every day throughout the week with Scott Bentley. He does a tremendous job covering the Tigers on all angles. Together, we've got a good 1-2 punch going for your Tigers. Wall-to-wall coverage for a fun baseball team. That shouldn't be lost. The Tigers are 14-10 now, 10-3 on the road. They get the win and go for the series sweep tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and join us tomorrow for our Locked On Tigers live postcast immediately following the conclusion of the game. Until then, have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you then.